Okay, let's set the scene. It's the final round of the 2025 Sinquefield Cup. I mean, after 8 super long, grueling rounds of classical chess, everything, and I mean everything, came down to this one single chaotic day. You've got a title, a ticket to the World Finals, and a whole lot of cash all on the line. So, how did it all play out?
Man, the tension in that room was just, you could feel it. As one of the commentators said, the consequences of losing were so huge, it made you think they wouldn't want to risk a thing. And that's the thing, right? When you're playing at this level, it's not just about making a brilliant move to win. It's about avoiding that one single mistake that could lose you everything.
And when we say everything, we're not kidding. Let's just put a number on it. $350,000. That was the total prize fund. But honestly, as big as that number is, it was really just the tip of the iceberg. See, the real prize here was actually two things. First, you've got the historic Sinquefield Cup title, which comes with a cool $100,000 for first place. But then there was the golden ticket, a spot in the Grand Chess Tour finals in Brazil. And for these top guys, trust me, qualifying for that was a huge deal. So, with all that on the line, you'd think the day would kick off with some crazy, aggressive chess, right? Fireworks everywhere? Well, not exactly. It actually started with a series of really quiet, calculated, and super quick draws. It was less about fighting and more about making smart business decisions.
And this quote right here explains exactly why. The commentators pointed out that qualifying for Brazil was incredibly high on their list of concerns. See, the Sinquefield Cup isn't just a one-off event. It's part of a bigger tour. So if you make a super risky push to win this one tournament, you could blow your chance at the finals. It's this crazy balancing act between ambition and just being practical.
Okay, so these early safe draws had a really dramatic effect. Think about it. A bunch of top players just lock in their spots, take their draws, and step aside. So all of that insane pressure, all that tension for the whole tournament, suddenly gets funneled down onto just 2 remaining games. The fate of the entire event was now on their shoulders. So yeah, the field narrowed, and it all came down to just 2 games. Everyone else had made their play. Now the entire chess world was just holding its breath, waiting to see how this final act would unfold. And what a showdown it was shaping up to be. On one side, you have American superstar Wesley So. For him, the math was simple. You win or you're out of the Grand Chess Tour race. Simple as that. But for his fellow American, Fabiano Caruana, the stakes were somehow even higher. A win, he gets everything. The cup title, the ticket to Brazil, the whole shebang. But a loss? Oh man, a loss, if Wesley won his game, could mean he gets knocked out completely. So, what were the actual possibilities for that last spot in the Grand Chess Tour finals? It was a seriously nail-biting situation, a total cliffhanger that had everybody guessing. Okay, let's break it down. It's actually pretty simple. Number 1, if Fabi draws, he's in, he qualifies. Number 2, if Fabi wins, he's in, he qualifies. But here's the kicker. Number 3, if Fabi loses, and Wesley So wins his game, then Wesley jumps over him and takes the spot. Fabi would be completely out. Can you imagine? A total disaster for one of the best players in the world. So what ended up happening? Well, of course, the most dramatic, most chaotic outcome possible. After all those hours of classical chess, when the dust finally settled, we were looking at a scenario nobody saw coming. A stunning 3-way tie. Here's exactly how it went down. First, Wesley So, in that do-or-die game, just plays a masterpiece and gets the win he needed. Meanwhile, Fabiano Caruana, with all that pressure on him, manages to hold his nerve and get a super important draw. And then you have the young phenom, Praggnanandhaa, who also draws his game, landing him with the exact same score as the other two. So the result of all that? An unbelievable 3-way tie for the Sinquefield Cup title itself. The day was not even close to being over. And this meant one thing, and one thing only. We were heading to a crazy, fast, high-stakes blitz playoff to decide who was taking home the trophy. And so the final act began. A 3-person round-robin blitz battle. Forget all that slow, careful calculation. This was about pure speed, pure instinct, and just raw nerve. Now, for anyone who doesn't know, blitz chess is just brutally fast. Each player gets only 5 minutes for the entire game. You get a tiny 2-second bonus after each move, but that's it. There is literally no time to think. You just have to react. It's a whole different kind of pressure. All right, game one. The young star, Praggnanandhaa, takes on Fabiano Caruana, and Pragg, who has been an absolute monster in tiebreaks all year long, does it again. He gets a huge first win, putting himself right in the driver's seat. But the drama was just getting started. Game two, Wesley So is up against the new leader, Praggnanandhaa, and in a total twist, Wesley plays an amazing game and takes him down. Just like that, the whole situation is flipped on its head, and now Wesley is the one in the lead. And so it all came down to this. One final game. After the classical rounds, after the chaotic playoff, the entire tournament title would be decided between the two American rivals, Wesley So versus Fabiano Caruana. And after those first two games, the scenario couldn't have been clearer. Because of his win, Wesley only needed a draw. A simple draw, and he was the champion. Fabiano, though, he had to win. No other option. It was hold on for dear life versus go for broke. The game was insane. It came right down to the wire, both players just scrambling with seconds left on their clocks. And then, with literally just seconds left, Wesley So finds this incredible, unbelievable saving idea. He forces what's called a perpetual check. It's this clever little sequence where you just keep attacking the king over and over, and there's no escape, so the game is a draw. An absolutely mind-blowing finish. And with that draw, he did it. After a day of just unbelievable twists and turns, Wesley So is your 2025 Sinquefield Cup champion. What an incredible performance under the most intense pressure. So what does the champ get? Well, after splitting the main prize money 3 ways and then winning an extra 10 grand for the playoff, Wesley So walks away with a grand total of $77,667. Not a bad payday for a wild day's work. So what was actually going through Wesley's head in those final crazy seconds? Well, he said it best himself. He said, I saw the clock, he had 15 seconds, I had 5. I understood that it's all about the clock, I just kept moving like whatever. It wasn't about finding the perfect move anymore. It was just a raw battle of who could handle the clock. And that really brings us to the final question, doesn't it? When a whole championship, with all that money, all that prestige, comes down to just a few seconds on a clock, what is it really a test of? Is it skill? Is it endurance after such a long day? Or, at the end of it all, is it just about who has the stronger nerve? Definitely something to think about.